Welcome, everyone. We're going to be starting the lecture in the next 2 minutes. That's going to be exactly 5 minutes after 7, so we can give others room to join. So I think everyone should just get their writing materials ready. There's a lot to be learned from this session. So everyone should get ready. Let's go.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح
Yeah, please mute your mic. Yeah, thank you very much.
Isaac, I think
Yeah.
we would be helping some persons mute their mic as well, just to make sure there are no distractions. So if you can mute the person's mic as quick as possible, let's go for that.
Yeah, all right. I've given you full host access though.
All right, thanks for that. Let's go. So
Awesome.
all right, so let me introduce Onionsman to us. So Onionsman is a seasoned innovator and Bitcoin enthusiast with over 6 years of experience building impactful solutions across Web3. For those that are not aware, Web3 is when you're talking about blockchain and all of those stuff, when you're talking about decentralized uh, autonomies and all of that, which is around blockchain and crypto. That's Web3. So yeah, he's been building impactful solutions across Web3, gaming, finance, and logistics. And he's also the co-founder of MoneyRate. For those that don't know MoneyRate, I think you guys should check it out. It's a wonderful platform. So if you're trying to get information about the rate of Naira to dollar and all of those, right? And you want to have a single point where you're able to see what almost all platform charges. I think that would be good. So Isaac, please can you mute James? Thank you, Isaac. Yeah, so beyond that, Onionsman is also the marketing and sales lead at Convexity. Yeah, Convexity is a big deal. They're a big company. I think they just launched their digital Naira or something like that. So that's Onionsman. I know him personally, and he's a great guy, and he has quite the knowledge around blockchain and cryptocurrency. So he's going to be sharing a lot of knowledge with us today. I'd recommend you have your notepads and take notes because I think a lot of knowledge is going to share here is something you can actually use to help build yourself up and all of that financially. So welcome, Onionsman. It's good to have you here. Isaac, is Onionsman here with us?
I'm checking through the attendees. He was here not long ago.
Okay. Maybe he's having network challenges. So for those that are not aware, what Onionsman will be teaching us today, what he'll be talking about today is Bitcoin and blockchain basics, right? He's going to be talking more. I think during our last lecture, Isaac did justice to the subject of blockchain. He just talked about a little bit, but Onionsman is going to be talking more about that today. and then he's also going to be talking about Bitcoin specifically, and then talking about the mystery around Satoshi Nakamoto. How many of you here have had the name Satoshi Nakamoto? Can you indicate by raising your hands or reacting or something so we'd know how many persons are aware of this?
Yeah. Sorry, my network, I had to readjust. I hope I'm still clear.
Oh yeah, you are. You are. I was introducing you, but you were not around. So I think you can just start your lectures from here.
Oh, okay. So I got my screen then. Yeah. Okay. Let me know if everyone can see my screen. And if you can't, let me know. Can everyone see my screen? Hello?
Yes, I can see it.
Yes, we can see your
Maybe a
screen.
thumbs up or something, so I will know
We can
if
see it.
everyone can still hear me. Thank you very much. So basically, the session today is presented by Candleweb. I don't need to make an introduction of who they are. So where I'll be spending my time sharing with everyone is introduction to cryptocurrency. So basically introduce me, but then I like to say God's name am I. I'm just a regular guy that likes to solve to how the industry choice and all is dependent on the opportunities I see and how profitable those problems are, right? But beyond all of that, I'm a firm believer in the new monetary that Bitcoin provides. So that's about what blockchain technology is. If you can still hear me, let me get a thumbs up or somebody say, so I know when I'm off.
We can hear you, sir.
Okay, awesome. So blockchain technology basically has become the kind of words that people throw around these days and say, oh, blockchain technology this, blockchain technology that. But most of us are more familiar with like cryptocurrencies, right? Is like Ethereum, Bitcoin, Solana, and the whole line, right? Regardless of whatever it is, we have meme coins as well.
Onionsman,
Blockchain.
I don't know if it's my network, but there's this disturbance, there's this white noise coming.
Sorry, if you're not speaking, probably Sophia or something. If you're not speaking, I think you.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's my network, but I'm following.
Okay, so at the very layer underneath all of these, right, is called blockchain technology that the whole Ethereum, Solana, and everything runs on. It's just like a house, right? You have a house, there's a foundation upon which the house is built upon. If the house is in a water riverine area like the southern part of Nigeria, there's a foundation, the kind of foundation you put. If it's in the north, there's the kind of foundation you put. But basically, cryptocurrency, digital asset, depending on the language you choose to call it, meme coins, Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever you call it, has a foundation that all of them runs on, and the foundation is called blockchain, right? Blockchain for blockchain for a layman is an open ledger technology. Open ledger meaning every accountant on this course should understand what ledger is. Ledger is like a record book where you write down certain information for record keeping, right? Now that ledger is now shared across multiple people that are in that system or that should know about that particular record. Meaning, if we are more than 5 or we are more than 3 and that record is shared with everybody, we can always validate that, oh, the record in this my book is the same as the record in your book, right? It makes it possible for there to be trustlessness, right? For there to be accountability, for there to be transparency. So basically, and blockchain technically is, oh, you write the first set of records in 2000, right? January of 2000. Then the second record is February of 2000. January of 2000 and February of 2000 linked together, right? It continues like every month that passes, the record you keep for each month now connected to each other. Right? So basically, that's in lack of a word, it's just a record that is connected to each other over a long period of time. So
Excuse me,
each
please.
record,
I don't know whether it's from my side. Your voice is shaking. You cannot hear what you are saying.
sorry, are you asking something?
Onionsman, I think he was
Okay.
saying he couldn't hear
If
you
you have
clearly.
question,
I think he was saying he couldn't hear you clearly. And guys, please, in case you're not hearing him clearly or anything like that, just notify me on the in-app messaging app section, and then I'll let the lecturer know, so it's not too distracting for him. And please, Vincent, Gen Z, Israel, please off your cameras. Read one, please, can you off your camera? Helen, Israel, please off your camera.
sorry, can everyone hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you quite all
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, you're audible.
Sorry, I had to change my internet provider. Sorry.
No problem. Continue, announcement.
Here, I want to share my screen again. If you all can see my screen, just prompt me, please. If you can see my screen, prompt me.
Your screen is visible.
At what point did you stop hearing me so I know where to kickstart from?
I think from you say that foundation, that Bitcoins and blockchain foundation is called.
Okay, crypto asset foundation. Okay, no
Yeah,
problem.
it's
No
called
problem. I'll pick from.
blockchain. Yeah, that's
I'll pick from there. So every digital asset, whether it's Ethereum, Bitcoin, whatever you call it, has a foundation. All their foundations are similar and consistent. They are all called blockchain, right? Blockchains is just a connecting bunch of information that you can link with each other, right? Let's say, for example, I own a shop, right? And I have January records of 2010, right? That record is kept. And then the record is given to the accountant, the lady that is, or the guy that is in charge of sales, and is given to the madam or the oga, whoever it is, right? It's shared across both bodies. And then in February, there's another set of records. The January record is linked to the February record, the same thing like that. So it's a connecting cluster or bunch of information. That is what blockchain is. So it's the difference is the January data is encrypted so that it's only readable by people that have permission to access it. So basically, that is blockchain in simple words. The whole point of that is to achieve one, decentralization, transparency, trustlessness. You don't need somebody to tell you, oh, this is the truth. No, you just go verify the truth. So fundamentally, that is what blockchain is. And that is what every crypto asset or digital asset runs upon. Blockchain is the foundation upon which every single digital asset runs upon. So basically, that's blockchain. So blockchain didn't just happen in 2010, right? There has been history, just like how we were taught the history of computer in school, right? History of computer, basically they'll tell you, oh, they had the mini computer, the micro, and then we had the Macintosh. Like You had different people that were building upon the innovation of the person that came before them, right? So the same thing with blockchain. We had the introduction of cryptography by Stout and Scout. Before them, we had BitGold. BitGold was actually the first, you could define it as the first digital asset that was invented. But the problem with BitGold that made it unsuccessful was the government knew who the founders was, right? BitGold was the first Bitcoin, in simple words, right? And CIA did everything possible to make sure it died a very natural death, right? So that was a lesson that the inventor of Bitcoin learned from the situation that happened with BitGold and used that to make himself very anonymous. So till date, we don't know who or the group called Satoshi Nakamoto is really. I'm jumping the gun here, but this is just to give you context into like the history of blockchain, right? And then we had various people implementing. Now, one thing that needs to be clear with everyone is Satoshi Nakamoto, either is a person or a group of person, introduced the Bitcoin white paper in December of 2009, in November of 2009, and as of January of 2010, the first block of Bitcoin was mined. Right, till date, Bitcoin has the longest block. Now, for context, when I call Bitcoin, most of you will regard Bitcoin as the asset that you buy. But Bitcoin has two definitions. There is Bitcoin, the coin, and there is Bitcoin, the blockchain. The blockchain that Bitcoin runs on is also called Bitcoin blockchain, right? Most times there's a way you can know the disparity. They uses a small letter B for the Bitcoin, that is the blockchain, then capital letter B for Bitcoin, that is the coin itself. Now, I'm going to explain different, I'm going to digress a little because of the coin and token. So you tend to hear people say, buy a coin or get a token. So there's two differences. The native blockchain, to function on any blockchain, you pay something called a gas fee. Gas fee is like, okay, just like your regular bank transfer. If you want to send money from, let's say, an OPay to a GT bank, when you send the money, there's a fee the bank takes from you that the telecom operator takes from you as well. Collectively, on the blockchain terminology, the jargon they use to call it is called gas fee. Now, the gas fee on the blockchain is paid in the native token of that blockchain, right? So when you hear coin, the first definition of a coin when it comes to blockchain is the native token, the native coin of that blockchain. For example, Ethereum blockchain, the native coin is called Ethereum. Solana is called Solana. You can call as much blockchain as you can call. The native coin is called the coin. Ripple is called Stellar. So like you need to know the difference between coin. Tokens are different digital assets built on the blockchain, right? They are built on the blockchain. So that's the difference between coin and token, just to make that clear out there. Now, when Bitcoin was introduced, Bitcoin lacked the ability to have a smart contract, right? So that gave rise to another introduction of Ethereum blockchain that had smart contract capability. That's why till today they tend to say, oh, Ethereum is like the computer of the internet, right? It has most of the money that you can think about that is in the digital asset space is locked in the Ethereum ecosystem. Yeah. So the reason why Bitcoin didn't have smart contract capability, the ability for you to give Bitcoin to code or encode a certain level of instruction into the Bitcoin's blockchain is because of it didn't have the taproot integrated into it then, because there was a patent on the taproot. The guy that invented the taproot algorithm didn't. You have to pay him to be able to use that innovation, but Ethereum bypasses one way or the other. Yeah, so that was the reason why Bitcoin didn't have that, and that was why Ethereum became a success. So after the introduction of Bitcoin, the next set of blockchain that were introduced was Ethereum and Ripple, before we had multiple blockchains coming out. So that's like a basic drop down of the history of blockchain. So I'm not going to dwell here much. So like I already mentioned, Bitcoin was the first and the most successful digital asset is the first. So there's something you almost know. There is Bitcoin and others, right? There is Bitcoin, which is Bitcoin, the asset itself, and Bitcoin blockchain. And then there's altcoins. Any other thing that is not Bitcoin is called altcoins. That's something everyone should know. You hear altcoins a lot, or if you are a trader, you hear alt seasons and all of that. Means anything that is not Bitcoin is altcoin. It's referred to as altcoin, right? And for context, let me go back. So we're talking about blockchain. Now, there are core pillars that makes a blockchain successful, and there are fundamental things that you should know that a blockchain must possess. So shared ledger is one, permissions is next, smart contract is next, and census is next. Shared ledger meaning the data should be accessible by everybody, right? Permission meaning it should be trustless. I don't need someone's permission to be able to access those data on the blockchain. Smart contract meaning what are the set of instructions I can code into the blockchain and to do a certain function I want it to perform for me. For example, let's say I own a school and I want to, I'm digressing here, and I want to encode the result of every student in my school onto the blockchain. I can set up a smart contract, meaning a set of what if, right? Is a set of what if A, then B, right? It's a set of instructions that you encode into the blockchain to ensure what your desired result is achieved, and those data point is stored on the blockchain. Yes, consensus meaning what is the agreement that we are all of us on the blockchain, what is the agreement that we are encoding into this blockchain for it to function and how it will function for us, right? So then we have the various participants in the blockchain. So there's something everybody must know. So there are two sets of people in life. There are the consumers and then the producers, right? A ton of people are consumers. For example, if you use a GT Bank, for example, if you use an OPay, you're a consumer. You pay them to access their service, right? Let's say, for example, one of you now decide to start doing community savings, meaning you go to your friends are saving their money with you, let's say 1,000 naira every week, and you collect those money at the end of the month or at the end of a specific timeline, you now give them the money and they pay you a fee. Now you're a producer. So even down to the blockchain layer, people are separated into the function they serve and how they choose to serve, right? There's the regular users, people that just go to buy asset or use any product that is built on the blockchain, right? Then there's the validators. Mind the jargon, right? Validators are people that ensure the blockchain continue to be online, continue to function. They are the people that ensure whatever consensus, whatever agreement that we all come together and say, this is how we want the blockchain to function. They are the people that oppose that integrity and make sure they are like the police of the blockchain, right? So you can either be a user, just use the blockchain, or you be a validator to uphold the integrity of the blockchain, or you can be a creator. Creators are people that build product on the blockchain. For example, I just made mention of a school. Somebody has to put those instructions into the blockchain for it to be able to save record of student result or preserve the result of student and all of that. It has to be a creator. Those creators are usually called like smart contract developers, designers, whatever you can think about. So those are the various categories of people that participate in a blockchain. Where you fall in is dependent, one, on your skill set, two, on your desires, and three, on your interest, basically. Yeah. Then there are various kinds of blockchain. So the general consensus, people don't know there are various kinds of blockchain that are useful. Always think of the early days of the internet when most of the internet was open source. In fact, most companies will tell you they cannot connect to the internet. There's something called intranet. Intranet is what most private company, if you ever work in a private company, they have intranet where you see a lot of LAN cables all around. That internet is not connected to the external internet. It's just within that ecosystem, that company, right? So some companies are scared of using public blockchain. One, because the data is publicly accessible, anybody can see it, right? Are you saying something? So let me go on. So the public blockchain is generally accessible to anybody. Private blockchains are only accessible to people in that blockchain. Then there is hybrid blockchain, and there is consortium blockchain, where a group of companies come together to create a consortium, and then the blockchain is birthed. Now, examples of public blockchains is, an example is Bitcoin, Ethereum, right? Solana, Cardano, Cardano, Consensus, Base, Polygon, like you could name the most popular ones, you know. And then there's examples of private blockchains where, for example, the private blockchain are built by individuals or private companies. So they are not popular ones out there. I think IBM has a private blockchain. JP Morgan have a private blockchain. Yeah. So then there is the hybrid blockchain. Those are the blockchains that combine the capability of a private and a public, meaning they are private, but they have certain information that are public. An example of a private blockchain is Hyperledger. It was the blockchain that was used by the CBN to create the INERA, right? Meaning you can't even see the information. That was why people were saying, oh, we don't even know how many INERA was minted or created and is in the system, because the CBN refused to give us access to that information. Because on a public blockchain, I don't need the CBN's permission to know how many INERA is in the system. I'll just go to the blockchain. So there's something called an explorer. An explorer is a dashboard, just like in your bank app where you have a transaction history, right? So it does like an explorer equivalent on the blockchain, where you just go and just check all the transaction history and be like, oh, this is this. So that's just the difference between that. Then there's hybrid that combines both public and private blockchain ability. Then there's consortium, meaning companies communicating with each other. A perfect case in point is JP Morgan has a consortium blockchain with all other companies. So companies are interacting with each other. You can't come into that blockchain without being a company, right? So that is the difference about that. So like the basic reason why this blockchain is better than this blockchain, there are various reasons. It has advantage and disadvantage, right? We're going to go. So there's something called the blockchain trilemma. Invented by okay. Hello, if you can hear me, someone say something.
You were talking, we couldn't hear you.
You're back now, we can hear you.
But now we can hear you now.
Oh, geez. At what point did you all stop hearing me so that I know I can track back?
We stop at a consortium blockchain.
Oh, consortium blockchain. Okay. So, so consortium blockchain basically is pretty simple. It's different companies coming together to create a blockchain that only them can access. For example, let's say Julius Berger, that we all call Julius Berger, right? Julius Berger comes, Dan Tata comes, SCC comes, they come together. So these various construction companies come together and say, okay, let's form a blockchain and share information among ourselves. So it's called a consortium blockchain. So those information are only shared between themselves. You as an individual cannot see any information on their blockchain or even access their blockchain. Does that make sense? Yeah. So there are various advantages and disadvantages of having a public, private, a hybrid or a consortium blockchain, right? There are various benefits to it, and it's dependent on what do you need the blockchain for, right? What kind of information do you want to transmit, and what purpose would it serve for you? So generally, a blockchain blockchain has certain benefits to different people. For example, for a business, it saves them cost, right? For example, if I'm a cross-border remittance platform, for example, I send money from Nigeria to US, or I'm sending money from the US to Nigeria. If I'm going through the traditional financial rails, right? Traditional payment rails such as SWIFT. We all know SWIFT. If you've heard SWIFT before, if you've ever tried to do international transaction, SWIFT, for example, you are paying a lot of fees to send money, let's say from the US to Nigeria, because like you are paying a lot of gateway fees. But if I'm using the blockchain, for example, I might pay maybe at most 100 naira to even send 100 million naira. That is the least fee. But if I'm sending it through SWIFT,
Sorry, sir, we can't hear you again. Your voice is rugged.
Honestly, you can't just now. I think you missed 20 seconds of what you just said.
or 50K, 50 blockchain of system SWIFT.
I think Onionsman's network is bad. So I think once he joined, okay, he's back. Onionsman, welcome back. I think let's try something, yeah?
Yeah.
I think let's try something. Maybe off your video and let's see if that will reduce.
I think I'll try that. I am so sorry. Could you guys tell me where you stopped hearing me so I know where to pick up from?
I think you are saying something about transacting
Okay, cross-border.
Yeah.
Cross-border transaction.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So, for example, I was making an example of the value that a blockchain offers, right? And why individuals or companies or institution, government agency will choose the kind of blockchain they want to use. Is highly dependent on what they want to use that blockchain for, or what value would it provide for them. For example, if I'm a business owner that offers remittance platform that sends money to Nigeria or out of Nigeria, right? If I use the traditional SWIFT platform, I hope you guys can still hear me. So I'll be sure.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
yeah, you're
awesome.
very audible.
Yes.
Okay, so if I use the traditional SWIFT system, I'll
Can
pay a lot
hear
of
you. We
fees.
can hear you.
Yeah, for example, if I send 100,000 naira, I might be paying a 10,000 naira, which is almost like 10% of whatever I'm sending. And it's not as if the person I'm sending the money will receive it instantaneously. The person might probably receive it in 2 days or 3 days, depending on the country. Some countries take as much as 3 days, right? Is that crazy? But if I'm using the blockchain, the person is receiving it instantly in less than at most 10 minutes, right? And I might be paying as low as 100 naira for sending 100,000 naira. That is how cheap. So for a business person like me, it's cheaper for me to use a blockchain that saves me money. You get, it makes my business run 24/7. It increase my efficiency. So it's a question of, okay, what do you need it for? What are you optimizing for? What is your highest priority as a business person? So those are different. And what kind of business do you do? It will influence your choice of either a public, private, hybrid, or a consortium blockchain. Like, do we all get that?
Yes,
Just
sir.
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to go down into practical application of blockchain, right? I've been fortunate to be the ton of. So I'm going to give examples of multiple blockchain applications that you could relate with. For example, If any of you has flown before and your flight gets cancelled and all of that, now getting a refund is crazy, right? There's a solution called Aeropay. It runs on the blockchain, and you get instant refund on your flight that was cancelled, right, by the airline, or you missed your flight and you want to get a refund. You get instant refund with that solution. So they use blockchain to validate the data, to validate the information, because whatever information is stored on the blockchain, everybody have access to it. So nobody will say you are lying, right? That is something that blockchain offers. For example, in the banking and finance industry, JP Morgan and BY Mellon has a consortium blockchain where they have been, I think as of the last data that I read through, they are transacting over 100 billion daily, and is a consortium blockchain at mark at I think the fees they are paying for all of those is less than 1% compared to the cost it cost them before. Another is issuing their shares and stocks and bonds on the blockchain, right? For example, there's a there's a solution, and you know the way we have our stock markets and all of that. There's a solution I'm working on where you can buy those shares and stock of different companies directly on the blockchain with whatever amount of money you have. And you can move it to your wallet depending on how you want to store it. Then for currency, there is stable coin on the blockchain, meaning, for example, if I want to save my money in dollars, I can just go buy a USDT or a USDC, right? Or a CN, and you get, or I can convert my Naira to a CNGN, for example, right? CNGN, those are stable coins representing your normal fiat currencies, right, on the blockchain. And I can send it to my friend that is in Kenya. I can send my friend in Kenya a CNGN, which is representing Naira, and they can use it to do whatever they want to do. Meaning, I don't need the permission of a bank to be able to make use of that form of money, right? For healthcare, you can turn patient health record into NFTs, and they can go to any hospital. The hospital just have to read the code on their NFT, and then they can get all their health records. In real estate, there's a solution by House Sitemap by House Africa, where every land you buy, the data is recorded on the blockchain. So no Omonile can come to you and say you bought a fake land, right? So no government agency can come to you and claim your land, right? That you did not have a CFO. All the CFO, certificate of ownership, whatever kind of certificate they give is stored on the blockchain, validating the truth of whatever you purchase. Then in commerce, for commerce, basically is for example, most people don't know the way God is good make payment for most of their transaction from China is through the blockchain. They use Bitcoin for payment. They use USDT for payment on the blockchain.
Onionsman, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I hope I'm still clear.
Yeah, you're clear, but from the messages I'm seeing here, a lot of persons are saying you're not very audible. So if you can speak up a little bit more, I think that would be very helpful.
Oh boy, I'm speaking as loud as I can. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think just pick it up a notch.
Okay, no problem. I hope I'm louder now. It feels like I'm screaming.
Yeah, from my end you are. From my end you are.
Very loud and very loud, yeah.
Okay. So for example, in governance, for example, we can, for example, if any of us have been following Twitter, you see a lot, Mark has been trying to project that, oh, we could have government expenditure on the blockchain for governance, right? And there is something called a DAO, Decentralized Autonomous Organization, meaning you can run a company by setting certain rules on ground, and it runs on the blockchain. If people meet certain criteria, they get this. For example, I could employ some of you, right, and integrate you into a DAO, right, on the blockchain, and say, if you finish this certain level of tax, you should get paid this amount of money. I don't need to give it permission. Once you meet those level of tax, instantly you will be paid your money that you are owed. Like, that is the value of blockchain, even down to how we vote for our elected officials. You can keep the record on the blockchain, meaning nobody can double vote. If I vote once, I can only vote once, right? My vote is one. I can't come vote here, run to the other place and vote again. Double voting is dead and gone. So there's so many value, practical application of blockchain that we can see in our everyday lives. And for a fact, most of our cross-border remittance fintech platforms out there are using blockchain. They're using USDT, USDC, CNGN under the hood to make cross-border transaction. That's something I think Gray just announced they have USDC on their platform now. You can now send money instantly. So those are like practical application of blockchain. Yeah, yeah. I hope I'm still very clear.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir. Thank
I
you.
feel like I'm screaming.
Yeah,
So,
you're very audible.
so
You're very audible. And
okay.
just to add to what Onionsman said, right? For those that don't know, USDT, USDC, those are Isaac, please can you mute Ebenezer? Or Ebenezer, can you mute yourself? USDT is actually the digital version of your dollar, right? So it's your digital version of dollar, just so you know. Onionsman, please carry on.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that's basic practical application. Like I already mentioned previously, blockchain has values that it gives to everybody, right? For some, it's transparency, there's reduced cost, there's decentralization. Now, for decentralization, let me break down that word because it might sound like a lot of jargons, right? Decentralization meaning um, not one person can be a point of failure or not one person controls the system, right? Meaning, as we all are on this group right now, let's say we all collectively say we want to give somebody 100 naira, right? And we give that person 100 naira. Then the person now come back and say, you people did not give me 100 naira. We don't need to argue with the person. All we need to do is, we are more than 10 here or 15 here, right? If 10 people here can check their own record and say, oh, we gave him 100 naira, we can't give him another 100 naira because 10 people have already validated that the record they have shows that we gave him 100 naira. So that way, nobody can cheat the system or nobody can change the system, nobody can influence the system just because they say so, if that makes sense. So blockchain also improve efficiency. There's data integrity. For example, there's a solution my company developed called CHAT, Conversive Humanitarian Aid Transfer Solution, that makes sure if you are a donor and you are giving aid to anybody, there is end-to-end transparency and every data is stored on the blockchain. And in the humanitarian space, there's something they call tamper proof. When you hear the word tamper proof, meaning you can't tamper with that data. So that is something blockchain offers. That's why it offers data integrity. Whatever data you stored on the blockchain is stored there and cannot be tampered with because of the decentralization it has and the transparency it has. And there is privacy also. Now, there's something I need to clear to everybody because of this privacy point. Blockchain offers privacy, but it does not offer secrecy, right? There's difference between privacy and secrecy. For example, I could be living my best life and not post it on my WhatsApp status, right? But there are certain things I'll post on my WhatsApp status. For some of you can say, oh, what I post might be my life. But no, that's not my life. Me not posting all everything I do on my WhatsApp status shows privacy. I want privacy, personal privacy, choosing to show you what I want to show you, right? That is what blockchain offers. Blockchains offer you the ability to choose to show or not to show, right? That's what it offers. So I said I was going to come down to the blockchain trilemma. So there are three major issues with blockchain, right? Any form of blockchain that influence the choice of the blockchain, any individual, any corporate entity that choose to implement. There's scalability, security, and decentralization. No one single blockchain has all of them in check. For example, Bitcoin blockchain. Bitcoin blockchain is not scalable, but it is secured and it is decentralized, right? If you send money on the Bitcoin blockchain, or you send a transaction on the Bitcoin blockchain, it takes about at most a 10 minutes to 5 minutes, right? For a blockchain like Solana is scalable, it is secured, but it is not decentralized, right? So basically meaning no single blockchain has been able to solve this problem. That's why you hear certain terminologies like layer 1, layer 2, layer 3 blockchains, right? Layer 1 blockchains are the origin blockchains like Bitcoin, Ethereum, right? Solana. Then layer 2 blockchains are the blockchains that are built on a blockchain. For example, Base, Polygon, those blockchains are built on Ethereum, right? They cannot exist independently without Ethereum, right? For Bitcoin blockchain, we have something called Lightning, we have something called, we have Rootstack. Those ones are built on Bitcoin blockchain. Without Bitcoin blockchain, they cannot exist. So that's something you have to, so those layer 2 blockchain came as a result of scalability, issues, right? So no one single blockchain has all of them in check. They have fault in one place or the other, right? Yeah. So
Onionsman,
yeah.
yeah, bro. Please, could you explain what scalability is when it comes to blockchain? So I think
okay.
everyone will be able to follow on some of these terms.
Okay. Sorry, I try to keep my notes very like summarized so that I don't put a lot of jargons. So scalability means the ability for something to do much more than it can do. For example, if you start a chin business, right, and you have one small frying pan, if somebody now place an order for maybe 5,000 naira worth of chin, maybe it will take you 4 hours to be able to develop 5,000 naira worth of chin. But now someone now comes and tell you they want 100,000 naira worth of chin with the same frying pan. If you are using the same frying pan, you might take approximately 40 hours to be able to now 16 hours to be able to now deliver that 100,000 worth of chin. So that means that frying pan you have is not making you scalable in that chin business. Now, let's say for example, you now have like, when they do one, there's that big frying pan they use for frying meat, that wide one that's like your whole village can eat from it. And then you use that one to start your chin business. And somebody comes and buy 5,000 naira worth of chin. It won't take you even up to 5 minutes or 10 minutes to be able to be done with frying that 5,000 naira worth of chin or 10K. But someone now comes.
Sorry, sir. We can't hear you.
Okay, I was muted. At what point did you guys stop hearing me? Let me be sure.
That's chin fry
Okay.
using village pan.
The 10,000 naira worth of chin in 5
Now you're not using that village frying pan, the wider one that your whole village people can eat from, to fry your chin. And someone comes and says they want 10,000 naira worth of chin. You can fry it in less than 5 minutes, right? Without problem. Now, if someone now comes 100,000 naira worth of chin, you can fry it in less than 1 hour or even 30 minutes without problem. If someone says they want 500,000 naira worth of chin, you can fry it without problem in less than 2 hours. Why? Because of the capacity, right? Because of the capacity and the speed it offers you, right? So Bitcoin is bloated. Bitcoin is slow. Bitcoin is not big. That's why it's not scalable. If something is not fast, it's not scalable. Does that make sense? If you still need me to double down on it, let me know. Did everybody understand that?
Yeah, boss. I think we understand.
Oh, okay. Awesome. So let me proceed. So that's the major. That's if there's anything you all should know is why certain businesses, why certain individuals.
Sorry,
If you
Onionsman, sorry for
yeah.
interrupting, please. I think a lot of people here, either they are hungry or they just like puff puff. Maybe anything you just talk about again, just see whether it matters or not, just add puff puff to it. I think everybody loves puff puff here.
Okay. Anyway, for context, I'm going to ask a series of questions after I'm done and probably give some giveaways to some people, but that's secondary.
Oh,
So
awesome.
let me also double down on security. Security meaning the platform cannot be hacked, right? There is enough people in that system. That means the system is secured, right? For example, you can't hack Bitcoin blockchain right now because it's very, very hard. It might cost you up to over $1 billion, over a billion or I think north of $10 billion just to be able to hack Bitcoin for even
Please,
5 days.
can you mute everyone, please?
Yeah, it
Mute
will
everyone,
cost you.
please.
Okay, let me go back again. Right now, the Bitcoin blockchain is secured, right? It will cost you as much as 10 billion naira per minute or per hour just to be able to hack the system, which is very expensive. Nobody will want to waste money like that, right? So Bitcoin is very secured. But platform like a blockchain like Solana blockchain, to an extent, it's secured, right? But it's not decentralized, meaning one central. Can you guys just mute yourselves because there's a lot
Sorry,
of distraction?
Isaac, Isaac, one who unmutes themselves unnecessarily, please just take them out of
Yeah,
this class. Just take them out of the
yeah,
class. No
I've
need to mute them.
been yes, so I
Okay.
just dropped it.
Okay, can you all hear me?
Yeah, carry on,
Yes, we
Onionsman. Carry
can.
on.
Okay. Okay. So also to expand more on decentralization. Decentralization meaning
One
no one
person.
single person.
And the
I don't
last
know.
topic now. And I
Okay.
believe when did you talk that?
Oh Christ.
Please, you guys should just keep quiet now.
Okay.
Isaac,
So
No, my
please
face is not showing.
drop Helen, please.
Yeah.
okay.
Onionsman, please carry on.
For decentralization simply means no one single person controls the system, right? For example, Bitcoin, remember I mentioned there are various participants in a blockchain. There are the validators, there are the users, there are the creators, right? The validators are the ones that ensures a system is decentralized and ensures the system is secured. Because the more people you have, for example, if we all own a business, right? And we are 10 in that business, and every record of expenses, inflow and outflow, everybody owns the record. Before anybody can hack our system, the person has to be able to change the record of 6 person out of 10 of us, right? That is the point where the person, or if the person now have capacity to be in charge of 6 of those records, meaning that system is centralized, that person can do whatever they like on that system, right? That system is not secured, right? So that is something that's like a simple analogy I can use for that example. If you don't understand that example, I can give another one. Just like let me know, thumbs up or something, or comment. Let me know if I should give more examples on that.
Please give more example. No verse.
Okay. So decentralization, Ethereum. Well, so okay, I'm going to go technical a bit. Bear with me. So there's something called proof of work and proof of stake, right? Proof of work meaning you have to do something to get a result. Proof of stake meaning you don't really have to do something, you just have to show face and then get the result, right? Now, as relating to security, let's say we have 10 people that are security guard protecting CBN, and each of them are supposed to guard certain point. 4 of them are guarding certain point, and they are rotating with 4 other people before any of them will get salary. And then 2 of them now decide they no go come work. They'll just come in the morning, write their name for record that I came to work, right? And then go. Do you expect that CBN to be secured? It will not be secure because 2 people no show face, right? You can describe that as proof of stake, right? But for proof of work, you must stay there till your shift is over before the second person that will take over from you must validate that you are there before they will take over from you. In that way, the system is completely secured. That is explaining security, right? I hope I was able to do that properly. Then for decentralization simply means the record is in the hands of more people, right? That is what decentralization simply means. It means if we are 100 people right now in this class and I share my slides with 100 people, and then somebody now comes and say, oh, Yinka, you put puff puff in your slide. And me, I'm like, no, I did not put puff puff in my slide. And then the person keeps going to, and then the only thing I need to do is go and ask the other 99 people that have the same slide and ask them if I put puff puff in my slide. You get? So that way, one single person cannot change the narration of the slide, if that makes sense. Right? So that's like the general idea around decentralization. Decentralization meaning when it's time to validate the data, when it's time to check what is the true data, what is the true integrity of the system, there are more people that are going to stand for it than people that are going to say, oh, this is it, this is it. You can always stop mischievous actions. Yeah, decentralization. That's what decentralization simply means. Yeah, so the last segment of my conversation today is on Bitcoin and the mystery of Satoshi Nakamoto. I'm not going to spend so much time here because I think I've been able to like dissect it when we're talking about Bitcoin history, the blockchain history, right? Now, one thing we all should know is Bitcoin made blockchain popular, and Bitcoin is the reason why we have a blockchain industry. And Bitcoin has changed how we understand money. So there's something everyone needs to understand. Money fundamentally is a medium of exchange, right? And a medium of transferring value, and is a medium of storing value. The one that if we all know the history of money. We have cowries, we have coins, we have gold, we have silver, right? We have trade by barter, right? The new evolution of money is Bitcoin, right? And Bitcoin also came, and the new system of this new system of integrity, of transparency comes with the blockchain, right? So Bitcoin is the next evolution of money. As far as I'm concerned, it's a more efficient means of money. Maybe something else might come after, right? Maybe when I'm long dead. I do not know. But as of right now, with all the knowledge I could amass and the understanding I have, Bitcoin is the best form of money, right? You can see it clearly with government governments are buying Bitcoin. El Salvador is an example. The nation of Bhutan is an example. Ethiopia is an example. We have a lot of other countries trying to buy. For example, the US, for example, are trying to create a Bitcoin strategic reserve to make sure they are buying Bitcoin and they become the highest holder of Bitcoin in the world. While Nigeria is still playing catch up, glory be to God. But that tells you something, right? If this smart money that we call them are already chasing Bitcoin, the smartest thing you can do as an individual is to chase it, right? Unless you end up still playing catch up till the end of time, right? If you are conversant with games theory, right? Meaning like, guy, take advantage of it the early you see it before other people come on board, because it becomes more valuable the more people that comes into the system, right? So Satoshi Nakamoto, like I mentioned earlier, learned from the mistake of the BitGold founders and decided not to reveal their identity. Wait, can you all hear me now? Because someone just said they can't hear me. Let me be very sure.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Yes,
I
you're
can
audible.
hear you. I can hear you.
Oh, okay, awesome. Thank God. So he learned from the mistake of the BitGold founders and decided, oh, I'm going to be anonymous, right? To make sure we build a system that is better. If some of you are not too young, during the 2008 global depression and global crisis, where most of the countries in the world lost the value of their economy, like was trash, right? A lot of money was lost in stock market and all of that. But all of this came as a result of the inefficiency. All of this came as a result of the inefficiency in the financial system. Now, there's something most people don't understand. For example, do you know if you deposit 100,000 naira in the bank will take your 100,000 naira and create 1 million naira from thin air and loan out that 1 million naira, and maybe at most they will keep like 10,000 naira in the bank. So that thing is called like fractional. No, that's the wrong example. If you deposit 100,000 in the bank can loan out 90,000 and keep only 10,000 naira in your account, right? That is called fractional reserve banking, and that is what is practiced across board in all countries. Meaning, if you come to the bank, for example, and say, okay, I want my 100,000 naira back. Meanwhile, the bank has loaned out 90,000 out of your 100,000 to somebody, right? To get interest from the person. What the bank will now do to make sure you are good for your 100,000 is they'll go and other people that deposit money, they'll not carry money from those other people, add it together and give you 100,000. The idea is everybody will not come and collect their money at the same time. If you ever hear the word bank run, meaning everybody go to a bank at the same time to withdraw their money, and bank do not have all the money in their balance book to pay. And that is a terrible financial system. For me, the most efficient financial system is if I loan you, if I give you my 100K to keep for me, when I want to collect 100K, give me my 100K. Unless I give you permission to loan my money, you should not loan my money. Like, does that make sense? Because like most people don't know this is the kind of banking system we have. And the reason why most people don't really care is the convenience that it offers. But then again, it also affects how you understand inflation, right? Inflation occurs because inflation is the byproduct of this fractional reserve form of banking, right? That's why your 100,000 that you are saving this year that can buy you, let's say, a bag of rice. I know a bag of rice is more than 100K, but let's say a bag of rice this year. I can bet you next year that 100K cannot buy you a bag of rice anymore. You might need probably 150K or 160K. Basically, what that tells you, like, you've lost 60% value of your 100,000 naira. That is what is happening year after year, year after year, right? But most people don't understand this basic economic concept. That's why when you tell someone, oh, don't save your money in naira, save it in dollar. because the inflation rate of naira is different from dollar. Most people will not get it. Or you tell people, don't save your money in naira, convert it to Bitcoin, right? They will not really get the concept because they don't understand the fundamentals of how money functions and what are the basic qualities of money, which is something that everybody has to learn. But eventually, not everybody will learn. There will still be people that will be victims. The only question is, are you going to be a victim? So, driving back to Satoshi Nakamoto, the guy or the group of people chose not to reveal their identity to make sure they are able to build the system. One thing you must learn is government will fight anything that feels like it is taking power from them. In our current financial system, the government controls the money. But with Bitcoin and the blockchain, the government do no longer control the money. Everybody collectively controls the money. And that is what money has always been. If you go back to first principles of money, first principle of monetary system is trade by barter. Trade by barter is simple. I have an iPhone 6. You have half bag of rice. I give you the
All right. Can you guys hear Onionsman, or is just me? I'm just trying to confirm if he's audible.
I can't hear him.
Network
And
is
only
bad.
hearing
I can't hear you. I can't hear the lecturer.
Okay.
Can you all hear me?
Network.
Yes, it's
Yes, you're
okay. We can
audible
hear you.
now.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Meanwhile,
at
Yes,
what point
you're
did you guys
audible now.
stop
We
here?
can hear you.
You were
I think
talking
you're
about
talking about
iPhone.
the first law of monetary system or something like that,
Yes,
if I
yes,
recall correctly.
actually, that's it.
Oh my goodness. At what point did you guys stop hearing me?
iPhone
So
6.
when you talking about iPhone,
Okay, thank God. It's
About
not that far.
iPhone exchange.
Okay. So the basic fundamental, like if you think in first principles, right? So let me explain first principles so that it doesn't feel like I'm speaking a lot of jargons. Can you all still hear me?
Yes, sir.
So first principle means at the most crudest level, at the most without any noise. For example, a car, a plane, a bicycle, they all achieve one single purpose, moving you from one point to the other. It's a form of transportation, nothing more, nothing less. If you now decide to do classism with aeroplane, saying I am flying an aeroplane, do you know I'm a big boy? That's your problem, right? At the end of the day, is you are moving from one point to the other, right? Either you go and eat, for example, for food in a restaurant, for example. Let's say whether you eat in Sheraton, whether you eat in Mama Put by the roadside, at the end of the day, what are you all eating? You're all eating food. But on first principle basis, all of them is a means of acquiring food, right? Whether you choose to call it, whatever you choose to call it. So money at its very basic point is just a means of exchange from one value for another value, right? So if I bring my iPhone 6 and you give me a half bag of rice, you weigh that the iPhone 6 value is what the bag of rice value. That's what money really is, right? It means one for one. But now we are having a system of 1 for 0, where the other person is telling you, trust me, right? The other person is telling you, trust me. But why should I trust? It's just like somebody coming to meet you that tell you, oh, I have an iPhone 6, but give me the bag of rice first. Later, I will give you the iPhone 6. Does that make sense? So that's not a good monetary system, right? Because the person can always default. The person can always not come true on their word, right? That is how crazy it is. So so that's basically it around like monetary system, form of money. Let me share my last slide before we call it a day. Yep. Okay. So basically that's it. So Satoshi Nakamoto chose not to show his face to be able to bring this new monetary system and form of money and financial new framework into life.
Sorry,
Right?
Onionsman, sorry for interrupting. Isaac, please, if you can hear me, the attendance sheet you shared is locked and people can't access it. They have to send a request. Please open it so everyone here could sign the attendance sheet.
Oh,
Onionsman, please carry on.
Okay, they'll need to sign in with their Google account. Once
They'll
you're
need to
signed into Google, you should be able to sign the attendance sheet.
All right, guys, you heard Isaac.
Yeah,
All right,
I think I
Onionsman, please carry on.
my Google account, but still can't get access. Then
To grant access for us to sign in, need to permit access for it.
All right, I'll look into it and modify it immediately.
All right. Onionsman, sorry about that. Please carry on.
Okay, no problem. But I hope we all got the explanation of money and how it's changing. If you didn't get that, let me buttress more. Okay. Since we are giving thumbs up, okay, that's fine.
Please, please, you can go back more.
Okay, let me try to explain it as possible. We all know Nigerian experience. I think at most we got about 60% inflation last year, meaning whatever money you saved in the bank last year, 60% of the value is gone. Meaning, if whatever you can buy with 100,000 last year, you can't buy with 100,000 this year. That's basically what it means when you hear inflation numbers, right? And why is that happening? Is the basic law of demand, is the basic law of demand and supply, right? If there is too much supply, the demand is low. For example, when we come into the season, of udara, for example, if there is udara everywhere, the price is very cheap when it is in season because there's too much supply. But when it is no longer in season, when you see udara, it's going to be very, very expensive, right? Udara is agbalumo for people that don't know, right? It's agbalumo. When agbalumo is in season, it is very cheap. But when it is not in season, it is very, very expensive. That is basic law of demand and supply, and that's the same thing with money. The Central Bank of Nigeria, as of last year, printed over 65 billion naira into the system. What is backing the 65 billion naira? My guy, trust me, that is what is backing it. That is what is backing 65 billion naira that the CBN printed into the system, meaning there is too much money in the system and it is only going to lose the value. Does that make sense? If we all understand the example, I can proceed.
Yes, sir.
Okay, awesome. So meaning that's why what Satoshi Nakamoto did with Bitcoin, introducing Bitcoin as the better store of value. Right now, Bitcoin has only 21 million worth of Bitcoin that can ever be in circulation. There cannot be any more, there cannot be any less. 21 million Bitcoin will ever be in circulation. And everybody is trying to get that 21 million or try to get a part of that 21 million. What do you think will happen? Meaning there is going to be less supply and more demand. The value can only keep going up. That is what is happening. Pure economics, demand and supply. And it's a better form of money, a better store of money, and a better medium to transfer money, right? So that is what Bitcoin offers. And the fact that it is cost effective, cost efficient, right? And you can validate. You don't need nobody needs to tell you I will lie for you. You just go and verify, right? You can easily go to the Bitcoin blockchain and verify that, oh, Bitcoin, there's only 21 million that can ever exist. Oh, this person sent me money. I don't need to go believe it. I'll go to the blockchain explorer and check. Did he really send me the money or not? Those are the things that Bitcoin and the blockchain has introduced. Trustlessness. Verify, don't trust, basically, right? Better store, better accountability, transparency, and a new innovative financial ecosystem, right? So that is what it offers. That is what Bitcoin has introduced. That's what Satoshi has introduced. Yeah. So we still don't know who Satoshi Nakamoto is till today. But some people might know, but we don't know them. Yeah. But so basically that's like the accumulation of everything I've said. But just to buttress on one single thing, the role you choose to play in the new ecosystem, the new financial space that's picked up is highly dependent on, do you want to fall into the bracket of a producer or you want to fall into the bracket of a consumer? If you want to fall into the bracket of a producer, you don't necessarily need to be very technical. It's a question of, oh, do I understand blockchain enough? And what kind of solution can be built on blockchain? What existing skill set do I have that I can apply and help sell this solution? For example, maybe you're a content writer, for example. You can now decide to write content around blockchain, the various solutions built on blockchain or with blockchain or with cryptocurrency. It's up to you, right? It can be applied across, but for example, you're an accountant, and with blockchain now, it's very hard to do like blockchain accounting. You now understand how blockchain transaction work. You're able to do blockchain accounting. You get fair accounting or whatever form of accounting. You are more valuable, right? There is the DAO, the Decentralized Autonomous Organization. If you're a lawyer, you're able to draft organization policies around the new structure of business, the new structure of governance. You are more valuable. Like there is a whole new open space. A lot of careers are going to die, are already dead. They are just waiting to be buried. And a whole new bunch of careers have been birthed. For example, Candleweb, for example, would never have existed without blockchain existing, without Bitcoin existing, without digital asset existing. It's a new product that was given birth to as a byproduct of the new industry that have been birthed, right? So it's a question of, do you want to fall into the producer bracket or do you want to fall into the consumer bracket? You have existing skill set. Think of ways to transition those skill set into the new industries, right? And take advantage. And the beauty about, just like demand and supply I explained, the demand for skill set in this industry is high, but the supply is very low. So you still have the advantage, at least in the next 5 years, to take advantage of it. So at the end of my speech is, don't be scared, buy Bitcoin and learn good stuff. Thank you all for having me and listening to me rant.
Thank you, sir. God bless you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Onionsman.
Thank you, sir. God bless you.
Yeah, so we're going to take just 5 questions. But before the questions, please, I will be sharing Onionsman's LinkedIn, the link to his LinkedIn profile. So you guys can follow and interact with him there. I believe he would also be sharing his slide and be making some a comment or something, or sharing a post about this lecture. So from there, for those who have been asking about how they can download the slides and all of that, so I think you can easily download it off of Onionsman LinkedIn profile or post that he would be making. And for those that are asking for attendance, Easy Trend, I think you scroll up, you would see that it has been shared already. Just scroll up, or someone should quote it, and then so Easy Trend can easily get a hold of that. So I'm going to take just 5 questions before we end the class. So Hamza, I can see your hands are up. Hamza, yeah, please unmute yourself and go ahead and ask your question.
Good evening, everyone.
Sorry,
Thank you.
Hamza, sorry, a minute.
Okay.
Isaac, please share the attendance form again. The one that don't have access, the one that don't need access, please share it again so that everyone can have access to it. Hamza, please carry on. Sorry about that.
No problem. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, organizers of this great empowerment. So my question is, so how is there any platform we can keep our money in USDC? Trusted platform you can maybe suggest? Unfortunately, my question, I'm sorry, it's not.
No, it's totally fine. It's totally fine.
Okay. Should I go ahead, or David, you want to answer that?
Oh no, please. It's your class. Go ahead.
So there is something. I was having a conversation with a group of friends, I think around 1 a.m. yesterday. And then I told them something. I said, the human nature always wants to blame somebody or want to pass responsibility to somebody. For example, you asking me, where can you store a trusted place? With the way blockchain has been brought in, you control how you store your money, right? I think a terminology I might use here is custodian and non-custodian. Custodian meaning somebody stores it for you, keep it, safeguards it for you. Non-custodian meaning you keep it yourself. You are responsible. If you misplace it, it's gone for life. I think there is about 6.5 Bitcoin that is lost forever because people misplaced it. Right? It's lost forever. It can never be recovered. So asking me is trusted system is a question of convenience, right? It's a question of what is your convenience level? What is the amount of money? Where do you want to use the money? Get for what purpose? You can now decide to say, okay, I want to keep it. For example, there's something called a hardware wallet where you own it, right? You own the private keys. I didn't go much into private keys and public key, into wallet infrastructure, right? But just the way you have your bank app that you can see your money inside, there's something called like a Bitcoin wallet or a wallet generally that you can keep it in. So it's a question of convenience. You want to trust a platform like, say, Binance and keep your money there. If Binance goes down, your money is gone for life, right? Or do you want to keep your money in something like, say, a trust wallet that you have the keys? Trust wallet stop existing today. You can carry those your keys and go to something, say, a MetaMask and put your keys and it will still work, right? So it's a question of you have to measure your risk appetite and your convenience level, and then you choose it at the end of the day. I would not really want to recommend any platform for you, but I'll give you the two fundamental things that should guide your decision. I hope I've been able to help.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So sorry to add to what Onionsman said, right? I wouldn't use the terms he used, custodian and non-custodian. I think what he's just trying to say plainly is that the two options he has given you, one, you are in total control of your money. The other one is in a platform that if anything happens to the platform, your money goes, right? So that's about decentralized and centralized wallets, basically. So if you have a wallet on an exchange like Binance, Bybit, is to a degree centralized because they control that wallet, right? But if you're using something like Trust Wallets, MetaMask, the way he mentioned, then you're in total control. That if even though MetaMask or Trust Wallet should shut down tomorrow, you can use your recovery phrase or private keys and recover your entire money, unlike Binance or Bybit or any other exchange that you do
For
not have
example,
those credentials.
okay, so let me use an example we all can relate with. If you have cash, right, in your house, and somebody has cash in GT Bank, if GT Bank shut down today, that person's money is gone that is in GT Bank. But if GT Bank shut down today, the cash you have at home is still with you. So that's like the easiest example. So it's a question of, do you trust GT Bank or do you trust yourself? So that should guide how you keep your money.
Awesome.
Yeah, if you get robbed, that is the risk. So that's the reason why people move to blame somebody. That's why you are outsourcing your trust, because there's always a risk. If you keep it, there's a risk. If you notice in Nigeria, and the early 90s, the early 2000s, there was a high level of robbery because people were keeping money in the house. But in the late 2000s, people started keeping money in the bank. Then the robbery now shifted from the house to the bank. Meaning, if they rob the bank, nothing concerns you. Your own is when you go to the bank should give you your money. Right? So people were shifting, outsourcing security. So it's a question of, who do you want to put responsibility? Do you trust the bank to provide better security, or do you trust yourself to provide better security? Yeah. Yeah. Next question.
So the next question, Sofian, I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Sofian, please go ahead and ask your question.
Oh, it's not a question really. I just wanted to ask if probably after the class we might, have a separate group for brainstorming and stuff like that. I think that will even help us and stuff like that. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
I can tell that David is in a better position to answer.
yeah, that's a good one. So first of all, Sofian, are you on the group for this particular cohort on WhatsApp? Are you there? Are you on that group?
Yeah, I'm on the group.
All right, all right. So yes, that group will be open for interactions at
Okay.
specific times. Yeah, so we're going to share the time that the group will be open. So it won't be flooded and people wouldn't be getting too many notifications.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
good. Thank you.
All right. All right. I think that's second. So Kelechi Asi, I don't know if I pronounced it correctly. Please go ahead and ask your question.
Good evening. Okay, my question is with the recommendation and the comparison between the blockchain and the traditional banking system. We've had issues, like personally, I've had issues where I invested in some very good cryptos, good crypto assets. Like if you can remember vividly, the Terra Luna, that should be 4 years ago or so. We invested in these things, hoping that these things will give us good return, and we were holding a very good asset. I think it was around the third or the fourth then after BNB. I think it was just Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB, and we had Luna. Those times I had over $400 then of Luna. But after staking on Binance, we see these things fall drastically, all the way from over $100 down to $0.00000, not even worth up to one kobo. So my question is, what are the security measures or things we should put in place to study and know some of these assets if they are valid, to be able to control, like you said, these things are not being controlled by anybody. It is a blockchain, it is a system. But
Bro, your
why do
voice
we
is low.
drive? Okay, is my voice? Can you hear me clearly, please?
I can hear you. I can hear you. Go on.
Okay, so I'm asking, how do we figure out good assets? One, then how do we control these price manipulations? It happened to us whereby we got hype from our own brothers who had did the publicity or marketing of some coin we believed would be cool. Like those times we did the Wakanda and the cake and all those assets. So my question is, when we're investing in this, what should we look out for to probably know this is a good asset? This thing will give us a good return or probably keep our money safe. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So your question is complex and simple. For example, most people are coming to Bitcoin to make quick money. They see Bitcoin as a store of value, right? Some people are coming to Bitcoin as an investment vehicle, right? So you're coming in, your question is coming from the point of, oh, I'm coming in as an investment vehicle. So the truth is, like every financial system, a lot of people are going to come in with a lot of things that are going to scam you of your hard-earned money. That's something you have to know, right? So there are fundamentals for understanding how to invest that you have to learn. An example, a case in point is, for example, even in our traditional system, you go buy the shares of maybe Dangote cement. It can give you maybe good return. There are some people that bought the shares of some, let's say, Heritage Bank, and Heritage Bank went under. Their money is gone. Heritage Bank, you could liken it to crypto asset like Solana, Wakanda, whatever you can call, like, right? You could liken it to those digital assets also. So it's a question of, oh, what are the fundamentals that drives this particular asset? Who are the people behind it? What is the objective? Okay, what is the possible return I'm looking to get? And also, how early have I come in? For example, First Bank, a lot of banks were selling shares last year, right? And I think early this year, if you bought early, the more people come in, you make more money. So it goes back to what I explained about game theory. The earlier you are, the better return in any form of system, whether it's digital asset, whether it's blockchain or digital asset or the regular legacy financial ecosystem. If you are not early, you will not make most money. It is what it is, right? You don't have to like it. It is just the way it is played, right? It's a question of you not being greedy and understanding that I am late, let it be, or I am early, I can ride it on. And when you have profit, you skip. See, the reason why most people lose money is because of greed, nothing more, nothing less. It's not because, yes, there are times where it's not your greed, but most times it's your greed. Like you want to make all the money in the world in one go. Comrade, calm down. It's like a bike man telling you a distance that is 100 naira is 1,000. You scream, do you want to build house on my head? Like you have to always checkmate your greed at every point in time. And why I'm even most glad is like Candleweb, for example. I can easily just put my money in Candleweb, maybe $200, and the AI bot will just trade various assets for me without me bothering about holding any of the assets. Like, do you get like, so there are various ways to safeguard and preserve, like protect yourself from the stupidity of people and the cunningness of people and the game theory, right? System like Candleweb makes it super easy, right? You get, there are other alternatives out there, but one of the alternatives is holding Bitcoin. Whether it goes down or goes up, you keep buying. And that's something I do. I keep buying Bitcoin. Like now Bitcoin is down, I'm glad I'll go buy more, right? And keeping it. Candleweb is there. I could put like $200 or $500 and it could be trading for me. I don't need to worry because on an average, it does about 10% monthly, right? If you do 10% monthly in a 1 year cycle, that's about 120%. You can either choose to build your wealth slowly or you try to go aggressive and lose all your money. It's up to you at the end of the day. So those fundamentals need to be clear and you need to be truthful to yourself and checkmate your greed. So that's all I can say around that. And
Awesome.
understand
Awesome.
game theory. Understand the game theory.
Awesome. Thank you for that beautiful answer, Onionsman. Ikechukwu Uguja. Sorry, man. Ikechukwu. Let me stop at Ikechukwu. I got to see you raising your hand earlier. Do you still have your
Yeah,
question or someone have asked it?
yeah, I still have my question. And my question is about our tutor talked about Bitcoin being money of the future. So the question is if Bitcoin lacks that's the scalability, that's the Trilemma, yeah, forgetting what you call it. But if Bitcoin lacks scalability and we are talking about money of the future, and whenever we talk about the future, we talk about something being fast, like faster than now. So if Bitcoin lacks scalability, isn't that affecting it being money of the future?
So I
I don't know
think
if
this,
you
yeah, I get
understood
you.
right.
Yeah, this question
Yeah.
you're asking is the reason why layer 2 exists, right?
Okay.
Bitcoin
Yes.
has a layer 2 called Lightning, right? Lightning,
Yes.
with Lightning, if I send 100 billion naira now, I might be paying a fee of 10 naira.
Okay.
Right. So scalability is being solved by the layer 2 on the Bitcoin network. The thing here is
I don't know. I don't know
is it a
if it's
better
from
record of a better medium of transferring money? Yes. The difference is speed.
okay.
But will the person receive it? Yes. Do you get? When
Yes.
the Bitcoin network is very heavy, at most it's 10 minutes, you receive your money. But if it's very fast, in less than 1 minute, you get. But with Lightning, in milliseconds, you are receiving your money with Lightning. So that's just the difference. So the scalability issue has been solved by the layer 2. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, so we're going to take one more question, and that is it. So, does anyone have any other questions before we call it a day? Onionsman, they like you. Somebody say you're so fine.
Please.
But yeah, does anyone have any further
Stay
questions?
focused.
Any more questions?
All right. So
And I think relating to the my slides that some were requesting, David, I shared it with you. Probably you share with them via email or something.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I saw it.
Email or on the group chat with them. Yeah, pretty simple.
All right. So I think we'll just take one question. I think this is Jamesy. James's question is, how does a cryptocurrency transaction work from initial to final confirmation on the blockchain?
It depends. So different blockchain have confirmation. There's something called confirmation time, right? I know Binance Smart Chain has 64 confirmation time. So if you send anything on Binance Smart Chain, right? If you get to like 60% of that confirmation, it will release the money for you. That's if you use an exchange, right? But if you're using your own personal wallet, it must confirm completely. So like different blockchain have different confirmation. I think Bitcoin has 12, right? 12 or 6. I need to be sure of the number. So different blockchain have different confirmation time. So once it's confirmed, you release it. It's just, yeah, that's basically it for blockchain terminologies. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Easy Trend, I see you have a question. Onionsman, can you take one more question?
Yeah, I can. No problem. I'm open to take as much question as possible.
Yes, we'll stop at this last one. Easy Trend, yeah, shoot, please go ahead and ask your question.
Okay. Jam, everybody. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are. I can hear you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Onionsman. Good to have you here. I really appreciate that. So, I just want to chip in to know pretty much about the confirmation time, right? Like you said, there are different blockchain with different confirmation. Is it valid? I don't really understand about that. I used to see it though, but I don't really put more attention to that. I want to know more about it. So how is the confirmation working? Like I've seen some will be like 21, some will be like 200, some will be like 100. So it'll just be one confirmation. So I want to know more about the confirmation story. How is it working? Thank you.
Announcement, did you guys question? I think Onionsman's network is a little bit slow, but Easy Trend, if you can hear me, right? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so just as Onionsman said, right? Different blockchains have different confirmation time, the amount of time that it takes them to confirm a transaction, right? But what we'll be doing is we're going to share a link. The link probably wouldn't contain information about all the blockchains, but it would contain maybe information about a few. But the main thing you should concern yourself more when transacting on the blockchain shouldn't exactly be the confirmation time. I think it should be things around costs, right? Transaction fee, how much are you being charged, and all of those things, right? Except maybe it's something you're kind of in a haste, but
Yes,
most layer
sorry,
two.
my network went off.
Yeah, yeah, Onionsman, welcome back. Did you get his question?
Yeah, I get his question completely. So I was about answering. So
Okay, go ahead.
do you all remember when I mentioned about the various roles you play in a blockchain, users, validators, and creators, right? Now, so based on the agreement everybody has on how this blockchain will function, right? We say we must get 200 confirmation before we realize that this thing is working fine. And in that 200 confirmation, the validators in that system are the one that will say, yes, not true, 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 before you get it. So the time it takes for each confirmation to go into the next and next, when you do the maths, you see some blockchains have like 5 seconds, some blockchains have like 1 minute, some blockchain ends up with like 2 minutes. Blockchain, Bitcoin could get up to like 10 minutes. Now also dependent on the traffic happening, how many people wants to confirm at the same time, right? There are so many variables that when you add them together, we now affect how many minutes when you start measuring in time it takes for you to confirm certain transaction. So those are the little nuances, right? It's more technical than anything major. It's nothing you should really bother about. It's just a question of when you now measure it in what you can understand in your time. Like, oh, it takes me 5 minutes to receive money on Ethereum blockchain. It takes me 2 minutes to receive on Solana. It takes me 10 seconds to receive on Bitcoin. Like, like that whole confirmation is around how long it takes you for you to receive. You get the whatever is sent to you. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
And
You got
someone
it
asked
right.
a
Thank you,
question
sir.
I wanted to answer in the comments section. Said he saw Trump at 70 and came to that. You were trying to speculate. You people need to learn speculation. Like speculation is like gambling. It's like saying, oh, this thing will keep going up. Oh, this thing will keep going. This thing will go down. And then you choose to bet on whether it's up or down. If you lose your money, it's you that chose to lose it because I won't want to go into it, but when it comes, that's you trading, right? That's a trading question. When you are trying to trade digital assets, right? When you are trying to trade, there are fundamentals that you should follow. Like technical fundamentals or like strict fundamentals, right? Like it's up to you at the end of the day how you choose to trade. But if you are very conservative and you don't want to lose your money, use Candleweb. You lose nothing. Candleweb does all the headache for you, right? Like a simple case in point, right? So if you do stuff like that and you lose your money, you don't go around blaming people or blaming the creators of certain assets. You are betting on whether it's going to go up or go down. You happen to be the one that it fell on. You get people made money. You are just the one that didn't make money. That's something you should understand. Like whenever you lose money, someone gained money. It's a zero-sum game. That's something you should always remember. When you do trading, it's zero sum. When you're gaining, somebody's losing. Money is not created out of thin air. So that's it. Yeah, I think I'm done with all the questions. I haven't seen any more questions to answer.
All right, all right. Thank you so much, Onionsman. That was a very educative one. Thank you for answering all the questions and being available for this lecture.
Thank
Please,
you for
guys,
having me.
awesome. Please, guys, I would be sharing Onionsman's the link to his LinkedIn profile again. Please follow, chat him up. I know he's someone that is very responsive. So if you have personal questions or whatever, feel free to ask him. Onionsman, they're free to ask you, yes? Just to confirm.
Yes. You can ask me questions, but please don't
Okay.
ask me trading related questions. Ask David trading related questions.
Yeah, feel free to ask me. All right, guys. I just shared the link now. I'll still share it on the group. Thank you all for attending. I hope you guys learned something valuable that you would use in the future or in the now. Good night, everyone. Thank you once again, Onionsman. I'll chat to you later, brother.
Gracias. It's a privilege to, at least you guys listen to me. I didn't yarn a lot of rubbish, hopefully.
Yeah. Thanks a lot,
At least
Onionsman. Thank you for the session.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir. Thank you, sir. Good night.
Okay. Have a great day, everyone.
All right, guys.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Onionsman. Hope everybody have signed the attendance.
Yes.
Awesome.
All right, that's awesome. Take care, everybody, and have a good night.
Isaac, there's this
Yeah.
story you didn't finish during your lecture. And Israel Samson, I think you were talking about, I forgot what you were talking about. Israel Samson has been stressing about this from the first
Oh,
lecture.
yeah.
I think next week
Yeah, I
Tuesday.
told him I'll tell the story in the last class. In our last class, I'll tell the story. It's not now. It's reserved for the last session.
Awesome. Let's do that. All right. Good night, everyone. Have a great one.
Good night.
All right, thanks everyone. Our next session would be on Tuesday, and during the weekend, we have recordings of the first and second class. We'll be sharing those with you. You should check your emails and you should check the class group. Take care, everybody. Good night.
Good night, sir.
Okay, yeah. Good night, everybody.